everyone, welcome to the Book Over, a little book club where we talk about books, especially the ones that give us book hangovers. I'm Sarah, with me is Megan.
Hello, everybody.
And today we are talking about The Blackened Blade by Isla
I believe.
Davon? Yeah, something like that. Sorry.
We're going to go with that. If that is not how you pronounce her name, somebody please let us know in the comments of wherever you're listening.
But nicely.
Spotify, go to our Facebook group. Yes, nicely. Or Instagram.
Oh my goodness. So Megan told me to read this book.
I did, yeah.
And I liked it so much. And I was like, why did I read it? I needed a book, I think. And you were like, read this book, Sarah.
And I think you were craving RH because we often crave RH, and recently it's just hard to find one that really grips us like they did like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the truth. Yeah. Something new. Something new. You know
Something new. Something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something new.
Yeah. And it was really good because it also has, like, we were saying, like, Hannaford Prep vibes to it. And even Burberry Prep a little bit.
Yeah.
But not really.
I got a little Bonds, a little bit.
A little bit of Bonds, yeah. So it's like a mix of, like, other series that we love. And then.
Yeah.
But
the
also,
vibes.
The vibes, yeah. Yeah. Gosh, I don't even know
Especially,
where to start.
Like, in the Academy. Well, I want to start with, which I love this, and I thought about writing books like this, and I've always loved this, and I think a lot of people imagine this, like, you know, what if you could go back and like redo high school, or what if you were sent back one day, you just woke up and you were back like 10 years ago. And there was this show on VH1 years ago called Hindsight, where somebody like literally woke back up in the 90s right before she was going to get married and make the mistake. Loved the show, got canceled after a season. Then there was this one called Being Erica, where she would go to a therapist and get sent back to like right past wrong. So that, like, I love that concept. I think in like webtoons, I think that might be a theme or a trope I've heard, that they're that like being sent back. So I've never read this in a romance. So excited that the main character like dies at the very beginning. Like, she's jailed, she's like been tortured for years, she dies and she wakes back up in her academy and is like, you know, oh my god, I'm alive, I survived, I'm here. And I mean, she completely changes. She was like weak back then. We learn as the book goes on that she had been like manipulated. We think that her like sister, half sister, whatever relation she is, did something to her. So like, I love that concept of, because I think people like that in a book where you have like a strong main character who doesn't take crap but also kind of goes through crap. So it's kind of fun that she's not taking it anymore. People are like, what's going on? And she kind of knows what's going to happen. It's just a very interesting and unique concept being explored, while also bringing like elements of like reverse harem that we love and stories that we love.
Right.
So,
well, and I liked the growth of her. So like, because she was older, she dies, she comes back.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I'm not going to be weak anymore. And so then as she's remembering her past, because I can't, like, I like thinking about going back to high school and being like, can I remember what happened the next day? So like, having to jog your memory of like, oh yeah, this major traumatic experience happened, I'm gonna save this person, and then it changes things, right? Like, you set different dominoes in motion. So I like that. And like, she
butterfly effect.
Yeah. And then realizing like, I never saw this person before. Why didn't I see this person before? Like, I was clueless to like other things happening because she was focused on herself. So it's like that growth too of like, you know, knowing these different things and then like being like eyes open to like other things going on.
And her world is kind of bigger in the academy because she wasn't doing things because she was bullied. And when she did do things, it turned out very terribly. And then she's connecting dots too. I think like when she was in jail, she had already connected dots. Like, her sister kind of like
set her up,
confessed to her that she was set up. But I think she's seeing like that it was there all along. Like, she's starting to see the threads. She has these group of guys. So at first you think the group of guys are going to be like her guys. They're the guys from her past.
Yes.
And I'm so glad that they weren't. Like, what a twist.
Yeah.
Like, these assholes weren't.
Oh my god.
Like, she's not bullied by her harem. Her harem are different guys that are, like, badass.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really awesome. I think that those guys are controlled by the sister. I think that one of them, and I kind of want this, I think that one of them will end up in the harem. Like, I think he's starting to, like, things are starting to wane.
Is it Xander? Because Nox is really mean. So you have Nox, Xander, Ander, and Kane.
I believe.
So I think it's
Xander.
Because Nox is always the one that's like being held back because he's like getting like really like aggressive towards her. And I feel like I think sister, because it's all magic too. Like people have different magics and powers, kind of, right? And so I think the half sister has something. Or is using
like when
something.
She touches them.
Yeah, because she will touch them and then they'll like go with her side or like whatever she wants. So I have and there was a scene, wasn't there a scene where Mikai, right? Mikai,
yeah.
This like she tries to touch her and she's like, "Don't you touch me."
She like knows, and then there was that bracelet.
The bracelet,
same that they had in that prison that like was used to take away
weaken her.
Yeah, and the prison when like came off, she learned because they were like testing her. She learned how strong she was.
Yeah.
So like everyone thought she was powerless and wasn't strong back then, but she was. It's her sister weakening her.
Well, okay, we're assuming it's her sister. I don't think it was like totally there yet, but I mean, come on, guys, it's her sister, and I think she's doing something to the guys, and I think I have a feeling because if they're all magical, I'm wondering if the one that's kind of like more compassionate towards her is like maybe now and then like thinking about it, and like I wonder if like deep down he's wondering why I'm still drawn or I still feel these things, while other ones I think are just so upset about whatever the sister lied to them about that like they don't see past it. So I feel like the one, and I think that's Xander. I really hope he becomes part of it, but I remember texting you this. There better be some groveling. Like I'm like on your knees, bloody groveling, and maybe she'll take them back. Like maybe, because I can see like she keeps on saying like I'm over it, goodbye, I'm done with you. But then she'll do like a flashback and be like, oh, but this and this and this. And like, I can see that pain. Because we've all had like friend breakups where we have like a really good friend and then we break up with that friend. And it's really hard. So it's like,
especially when it's your first friends that you break up with. Your first friend to break up, it's the hardest.
So I can see her like maybe giving in.
Especially if it comes out that they were kind of under the influence of something. But I don't know. Some people like, what if it's like an extra large harem? I think my theory is we'll get one guy from there. That's my theory, and then he'll have to kind of blend in with the four, which will be tough.
Yeah.
And then I think we're gonna get the teacher too.
I think we're gonna get the teacher.
I don't think that that's like even in question at this point.
Yeah. Well, and so my thing is, so, okay, as we're doing this, you know, she has a new best friend, Morgan, which is awesome. And then Morgan has her mates that are going, I'm assuming,
well, she got Morgan because she saved, that was the girl she remembered.
Yeah, she remembered her, saved her.
So I think that really set things in motion. Because I think the guys, when Morgan died, that's why the guys weren't at the school originally. I think they were mourning Morgan, trying to figure out what happened to her. I think that's why she didn't remember them and they weren't. I think that really set everything. This like kind act that she did. Yeah. You know, the selfless act, I think, is what's setting all of this together. And I think they were always meant to be mates, because I hate to skip ahead, but like because she says that she found her mate when she was in prison, and they could never, his voice was messed up because he's like a siren, and they were testing it, so they couldn't really talk much. He could only sing to her, and it's pretty obvious that it is Ezra, but he went by like Zero or something, like he said
Zero. He said
so. At first, when I read it, it kind of sounded a little bit like the teacher's name too. So I was like, could it be the teacher? And then all of a sudden, it's basically admitted that it's Ezra because he hears her singing in the room, and like he's a siren. I'm like, how could it not? If it's not him, I'm 99.9% sure it's him at this point.
Yeah,
I just don't think that, like, that's in question.
Well, the thing is, she's mates with all these people.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so it just hasn't been set up in motion, but it's slowly turning out that way, right? Because she just helped. Oh, who in the woods turned into a monster and she helped him come back? That was Malin? Malin, yeah. Right? We're working on the name. Yeah, Malin was that. And then didn't something just happen with Annex? Yeah, so it ends with Annex.
At the end, he's like live bleeding. He's dying.
He's dying, and she's gonna save him because she's his mate. And so that's how they're gonna all figure it out.
Yeah, I was thinking that, or like, I don't know. I think I've seen some people float around that someone said like that there was like someone jokingly said something about him being a Reaper, but I don't think so. I don't think people would be that panicked if it was his own power saving him.
Wait, didn't you tell me that?
I think I did, but here's the thing. I think the only way that if he really was, that would save him is if her powers like make his stronger. Right. Because they're too upset. They're too upset for it to be something normal for him to come back from the dead.
Yeah.
It would have to be like her powers making his powers stronger because they're mates. Or I've started thinking, what if they all like get one extra life and they all like kind of come back to a certain point? I don't know. That would be something.
Because I was curious on like Ezra, if he's doing the same thing, like died and coming back.
At first I thought that, but like he
doesn't seem to know.
He doesn't seem to know, and she did say that he died before her, like a year or two before. Like she had to live without him.
That's true.
And I mean, that would be really. But then once we got his POV and he heard him in the music room,
no, you're right.
Yeah. That would have been interesting though, because the guys do go off and do stuff.
Yeah, and that's why I was like,
Wood was investigating stuff. There's these big monsters. Like there's some stuff going on. Yeah. There's the jail. They only have, and he gets sent to the jail. So like, there's a lot going on, especially where there only being 3 books left. So I'm very curious. To like how it's all going to get intertwined. But I also love that it's not super long, so we won't have to like wait, and it won't be drawn out.
It won't be drawn out, and then that way you can make sure that answers or questions are answered, and you know, all that stuff. Yeah, I really like it. With 4 books, and I'm like, okay, we'll get a good. I didn't realize it was going to be like a 4-book series, so I'm excited. And what I really like is like I believe the author is newer. And so, like, there are, like, some, like, little glitches and errors here and there, but those didn't even bother me. Like, I was like, that's why in some other books, I would have DNF'd, to be honest. But I was so into the story that I did not care. I was like, okay, I'll highlight that. And, like, she's, like, has a new editor, and she's doing all this work to make sure that, like, and, like, correcting it all, that, like, it makes me so happy to see that she actually, like, is taking the feedback and like is trying really hard, and I'm just so excited because she just announced, I forgot the name of the 2nd book that's coming out, like it's up for pre-order already, and I'm like, yes. It was just, I just saw
Blackened Bond, I think,
something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Well, and she also got an audiobook deal, but also she hasn't put a paperback out yet. She hasn't put a physical copy out yet because she's waiting until the errors are fixed.
Yeah. Which thank you.
Yeah. Which we love, because that's something that Sarah and I talk about sometimes.
Yeah.
So that'll be nice. But yeah, I love that she's taking the feedback and reworking it. But yeah, the fact that we love this book so much, in spite of at first there was some like tense stuff, but really I was able to ignore it, and
it was.
I mean, it's such a good story. And it's not that academy thing that we love, where like she's actually like living a year in the academy. So it's like, you know, she's going to classes, she's sitting at lunch, you know, going out and venturing through town. She has a traumatic past, an abusive father. Like there's just so much going on. I just love when they're like actually in the academy and like living these school days. Yeah. And it's not just like bam, 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 you know, like again, like what we said, like Hannaford or Burberry, where you're kind of like living through the year. I'm a fan of that.
I am too. Yeah.
So that's a plus. And I liked that, like, you know, the guys liked her. They like Annick liked her. The only one that like didn't at first was Creed.
But he's warming up.
Once he figures out if he saved his sister, it's gonna be like that. But I I think that's kind of a trope with the harems where like one is a little iffy, but he's not terrible to her, and they have a good back and forth.
Yeah.
One's just like a little shyer, and then like Ezra's all about it. Annex is about it. Annex was so fun with the lunch table stuff.
Oh my gosh,
that was so fun.
Yeah,
I
loved how he like just the start of their meeting each other, and then like and now he's showing up to class more, and just all of it. I just love it. Yeah, for her.
And they're bloodthirsty. That's always fun.
I know.
And then like the teacher, the training, like I love that her body, like, and like I love like the author thought about that, like, hey, her body's still weak. She learned all this stuff, but she has to, train, and she's like putting in the effort, and she's like forging this bond with this teacher who like he's kind of protective in a way to like the assholes in the class, which I enjoy too.
Yeah, and I liked how he helped her out, like, because something happened in the woods. Sorry, it's been a while since I read it, but something happened in the woods, and they went to the spot, and he like helped her out because he couldn't like take her back to his place because that was like gonna cause problems or something. But I'm like, oh no, take her back to your place.
Right?
Yeah. So I'm waiting for the Infernal Four to find out about the professor, and then like see like what happens. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's like the march. She's getting like tattoos and stuff too. So we're trying to figure out like what that's about. Yeah. There's all these mysterious things happening to her. Like, how did she get them back? I mean, there's a little bit of lore that was said about like how that can happen by one of the characters, but still there's like a lot to learn. Yeah. And a lot of theories about like the tattoos, if that's like a mate thing, if that's like, what that is. Yeah. So.
Yeah,
I'm a power thing.
Excited. I'm so excited. And I'm like really excited for that, like the links of the mates, and for them to all come to that realization. And I'm wondering, like, her even telling her story and like how she's like back and stuff. Like, that's how I knew. Like, I just like, it's so good. It's so good.
And to be like, we were made. Like, I want that, like, her to find out who Ezra is.
Like, oh my gosh, she's gonna cry.
She's gonna lose her marbles. Because the minute he sings, she's gonna know.
Yeah.
As soon as he sings. Yeah. So that's gonna be a great moment. The story's gonna be a great moment. Just them being badasses to the haters.
The haters. Jeez, the haters. Oh my gosh.
The haters. Is the dad gonna come into play?
He's probably gonna show up at some point, and I don't like him. But then I'm like, maybe the dad's like, I'm thinking Cinderella, right? Where like it's like the evil stepmother and her like two like spawns, and like the dad's not all bad, but then like if maybe mom's magical and mom's doing something to the dad. But no, there's all that backstory of how like he treated her after her mom passed away, and all that stuff, which is just so incredibly like heartbreaking. But like you had that theory that like maybe
she was the mistress, and maybe the death of the mom has something to do with her to begin with. Like, she's like, I had a baby with this guy, I want him to be my husband. Like, it's a prestigious family. Like, she's been shunned. She comes from like one of the prestigious families, and she should be getting all this credit, but they don't give it to her.
No. Yeah, it's totally Cinderella.
So yeah,
in a way. Sorry, I'm like,
So no, it is.
Yeah, I love it.
That'll be interesting. I love it too.
And I just like, there's revenge coming. There's like good revenge, and you're just like, do it, and I love it. Yeah.
And it's got my favorite part where they're, a unit. I love when, and that's one of the reasons I love Reverse Harem, is when they become a unit. You don't have to worry about like breakups and stuff. I think this is a story of them getting together and like, going through all this stuff together as a unit. I love that. That's my favorite.
Me too. Yeah. So good. Okay.
All right. Yeah, I think we have it for Blackened Blade.
Yeah. All right.
We're excited for more.
So excited. Okay. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.